I was just editing this video together, and I did the cool little edit at the start, and then straight into the update, and the file was corrupted, so all the media got lost. So I'm going to have to re-record the first chunk of the video, drop it in here, and then it's going to switch to the rest of the stuff. So anyway, let me jump straight in. I'm still getting used to this YouTube stuff. You got to bear with me. So I started off by talking about the Lyfcoach update, right, which was the B2B sales. I have developed a plan to do that. It is basically I'm reaching out to local companies in my area because it's much better to get a dialogue going with people who are up the road because they're just much more receptive to my approach. So that's what I'm doing. I have started with a list of 10 companies who are in my area who could benefit from using Lyfcoach AI for their team. So they're businesses that are between 50 to 100 employees. They're local. But I'm not going straight in with a cold approach. I am researching them and so that I can learn how best to approach them and how best to approach them and if it is even usable for them, right? Rather than figuring that out in the conversation. I've also been working on the pitch, which essentially is quite easy because I've always been a big believer in that you build people, right? You build the people and they help you build the business. Good people are good employees. It's as simple as that. That's what I believe. Now, there are probably some people that work for me who are watching this going, whatever, Tom. But it is, I might not always execute it perfectly, but I do, it is my belief that that is the reality. That's the update with Lyfcoach. The update with Skyline was, is that it's, a lot of stuff is going on and it's very stressful. And then it will cut now to me in the chair talking about how stressed Simon is. Apologies for the glitchy edit today. I'm still figuring this stuff out. Simon is very busy and very stressed at the moment. I've got a meeting with him. I'm leaning on my team members in Skyline a lot at the moment. And being a smaller team now, it means more pressure for everyone, me included, right? I am working a lot in Skyline and constantly playing that game of like being in the company and trying to work on the company, but getting dragged back into it. But I have to support the team members because we're such a small team, right? But aside from all the stress and the pressure, things are actually all moving in the right direction. Projects are coming down the pipe. Obviously, all the challenges come as well, but we're navigating those challenges and using them as using them as opportunities to improve as we go, because there's a lot of that. The Four Strings Up property, I can't divulge too much right now. There's some cool stuff going on behind the scenes, but I can't really touch on it right now. But it's moving and I'm really excited about that. And I'm hoping that I'll have a big update for you in a couple of weeks. Depends. So I can't really say a lot other than that. We do have the builder in at the moment. Just got an invoice for a load of work, which I've got to find more cash for. So still constantly in that sort of finding cash to service businesses because these businesses require cash. Right, the mastermind. So it's September now. So the next mastermind will be at the end of this month. I need to book that. I've got the date set in. I've announced this to the guys in the group, but I haven't fully organized it all. But the mastermind, the word mastermind is, I've been to some masterminds and they are great, but the word mastermind is a little bit played out. And I'm not sure it's entirely accurate for what we're doing. I've had an idea how I want to move forward with all of the coaching and the mastermind. Essentially, I'm quite uncomfortable about making money doing it. I have made money doing it, but it's never really felt quite right. And I think this is something to do with I like B2B, not necessarily B2C. And although I've made a little bit of money doing it, it's not enough to really get me excited anyway. And then I had an idea. I had this idea about earlier this year because I was thinking about packing them in, but I know that they're really useful. They're useful for me and they're useful for the guys that come along as well. So I kind of feel obligated to keep going. And then I was like, this really ought to be a charity thing. Because, you know, when you get into business and when you're doing what I'm trying to do, a big motivator is, you know, you see these guys at the upper echelons of business and they become sort of like philanthropists, right? And I think that lots of people, they have the ambition that they will make a lot of money at some point and then they will start giving. But the reality is you have to start giving at the earliest point, which is hard to do. When you ain't got a lot of money and you ain't got a lot of time and you're really stressed, it's hard to do that, right? But you've got to build that. You've got to build that habit. So my idea with the mastermind is to rebrand it, give it a new name, and then all of the profits from the events we will collect over the year and will go to charity at the end of the year to at Christmas. So my sort of, in my mind's eye, what I'm seeing is every quarter we would profit, you know, X amount, £100, whatever. We stack that up over the year, and then at the last event of the year, the Christmas thing, we would all throw our names in the hat for different local charities, and then we would take a vote and we would donate that money to charity. I think it would be great. I think it would be really good for the people in the mastermind to do as well. And I think it would be great as a group of guys to be doing that together, you know, and letting the members have the input into what charities we're doing, you know, all of this kind of stuff, letting everyone be a part of that rather than it being about me chasing people for money and then, you know, basically reinvesting that money to build the events. It just feels like a better idea. I think it's better concept. Now I've got loads of like figuring out to do. How does that work? You know, will it be a limited company? Is this a charity? How does the banking work? How would I show transparency to all the members, etc., etc.? I've got all that figuring out to do. But I floated the idea to the group and they were really into it. So I'm looking at making that happen by the end of the year. So I'll probably finish out the year doing the masterminds like usual, and then by the end of the year we'll have the whole plan to do that. Any money that's made in the meantime will go to charity as well. So I'm not pocketing the money. I'm in a weird spot right now. I did a Instagram post about this the other day. I've come to the realization, you know, I turned 42 yesterday. I don't feel 42. I feel 32, to be honest. I've come to the realization that, like, you know, I haven't really made much significant progress in the last couple of years. You know, I had this kind of, for the bulk of my young life was like very difficult. And then I had this huge uptick where I made a huge amount of progress in maybe a year or so. It was like all the fruits of my labor were realized at one point. And then since then, I've really plateaued. And I've been plateaued for like, I would say like a good over 2 years now. And I've been sort of like banging my head against the wall and trying to get somewhere, and it's just not happening, right? And I realize now, when I take a bit of time back to step back and look at the situation, that, you know, what got me to this point is not going to get me to the next point. You know, all of the skills that I used to hustle my way to the first level of success, you know, the skills that I need now to become the business leader and owner and partner and all these things now it's a different skill set. I need to get much better at communication, much better at details, much better at management, accounts, balance sheets, all of this kind of stuff, hustling, sales, you know, all of this stuff. It's really like enjoyable, and I like making money. I always got a kick out of it. It's the creative element of it. But now I'm at a point where I've got to get better at doing different things. Compliance, you know, compiling documentation, building systems and processes. I have to get better at this. The other thing I have to get better at is just work, discipline and scheduling. I've gotten by quite well on just doing what I feel like, working when I feel like it, you know, making decisions when I feel like it. And that, I think that period of my life is gone now. I think now is like a kind of disciplined approach to work. Ultimately, I worked really hard for freedom. And now I'm in a position where I kind of have to sacrifice my freedom in order to grow the business, or the businesses, to the point I want to get them. And I'm okay with that sacrifice, right? I want to take it as far as I can, so I have to do this, right? I just got to like frame it in my mind so that I'm on board with it myself, you know? So that's what I've got to do. I've got to try and mitigate distractions and remain as focused as possible. So I'm really going into a focus period now. That's it. That's the update. I hope this was useful. If you like this video, make sure you drop a like on the video. If you're starting out in business, let me know in the comments below. What business are you doing? What are your biggest business struggles? Are they like mine, focus and like, you know, skills, or are they other things? I mean, God knows I've got many other challenges as well, but you know what? Like, it is part of the game. It's what I signed up for. So you just got to like go with it. Anyway, that's a phone call that I need to take. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in Sunday's vlog. Thanks a lot, guys.